All right, Shalom, Shalom. This is Brother Mayam coming at you from GMS Tampa Bay. First and foremost, I want to give all the praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Mechah HaKodash. Double honors to the elders, apostles of the great millstone, and much blessing and salutations to the Akim around the four corners of the earth who are diligently pushing out this truth and sincerity. And I just wanted to do a quick follow-up, just going into the last video I did entitled Take Heed to the Signs, Worst Things to Come, And just was thinking about after I got done doing that lesson, how things are only going to get worse. And I started thinking about this chapter here in 2nd Ezra, right, because things will continue to get worse, man. All right, until the day of the coming of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. And so I just want to read a little bit of this, and I don't want to make this too long. But this is 2nd Ezra chapter 14, and I'm going to read this in the Good News translation. All right. I'm gonna start at verse I'm gonna start at verse 10. It says, the world is no longer young, it is rapidly approaching old age. The whole history of the world is divided into 12 periods, and the 10th period has already arrived, and it is half over. Only 2.5 parts remain. So from this time that Ezra was alive during the Babylonian captivity, the end of the Babylonian captivity, to the time that Yahushua arrived was about 500 years. Okay, and so that was that half part that was left, and then from Yahushua until the time that we're at now, that's the remaining 2 parts, which is approximately 2,000 years. All right, so we're in that time of the end. All right, so it reads, set your house in order, warn your people, comfort those who are humble, and teach those who are wise. Then say goodbye to this mortal life. Okay? And this is where we're at. Okay? This is what the prophets are doing, man. Setting their houses in order. All right? Warning the people of what's to come, and comforting those who are humble and willing to learn. All right? And it says what? Teach those who are wise, man. Okay? And the earth has been divided into 12 parts, meaning 12,000 years. All right? You had, 7,000 years, or as the scriptures talk about in Genesis, 7 days, which we know that to the Lord, 1 day is as 1,000 years, right? 2 Peter, just to prove that real quick, 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 8 says, but beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that 1 day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is 1 day. So when it talks about in the book of Genesis of 7 days for the earth to be created, or life to be created, okay, it's actually 7,000 years for us. It was 7 days unto the Heavenly Father, but 7,000 years for us. So that's 7,000 years, and then from that on, it was the history of man. Okay, about 6,000 years, which even when you go to the Library of Congress, they only go back 7 years, or 6,000 years of human history. Okay, so we at the end of this, which it's gone over a little over 12,000 years, but again, the Lord is dealing with approximation around that. Okay, around that 12,000 year timeline. All right, but continuing on, I'll read verse 13 again, and again, this is in the Good News translation, 2nd Ezra chapter 14, verse 13. So set your house in order, warn your people, comfort those who are humble, and teach those who are wise. Then say goodbye to this mortal life. And again, this is what the prophets of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai have been sent out here to do. To warn the people of the times that we're living in. All right, to teach the wise, okay? And to what? To say goodbye to, and prepare ourselves to say goodbye to this mortal life. Because what's to come after this is immortality. Okay? And it says, verse 14, put earthly cares away from you, throw down your human burdens, and lay aside your weak human nature. Put all your anxieties aside and get ready to leave this world quickly. You see? And this is what we have to be in a mindset of, those who have the faith in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai and in His Word. Okay, we have to put our anxieties aside and get ready to leave this world. And it said, what? Quickly, man. Because these things are going to come upon the earth quickly, and the Lord is speeding up the times for the elect's sake. Okay? It goes on to say, and this is the point of what I wanted to get to. It says, you may You have seen many evil things already, but far worse things are about to happen, man. And think about that as Ezra was receiving this. This is during the time of the Babylonians. Okay, nearing the end of the Babylonian Empire, because Ezra was around during the Medo-Persian Empire and had a part in the rebuilding of the temple. So this is near the end of the Babylonian Empire that this is being written. Okay. So you had the beginning of the Babylonian captivity. You had the Assyrian captivity. All right. You had the Egyptian captivity. You had all those atrocities and killings that happened, and miracles and signs and wonders that the Heavenly Father had happened in those times, those evil things that took place back then. And the angel is telling Ezra here that far worse things are about to happen. It says verse 17, as the world grows older and weaker, the evils that will come upon its people will multiply. And this is what we see happening, man. Especially after the Greeks came into power, which it tells you that in the book of Maccabees. Let's get that real quick. That evils multiplied upon the earth. This is First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 7. It says, so Alexander reigned 12 years and then died, and his servants bare rule every one in his place. And after his death they all put crowns upon themselves, so did their sons after them. Many years and evils were multiplied in the earth. Okay, so Alexander and his generals, they ruled, and then after Alexander died, his generals took over of particular regions, and so on and so forth. As history went on, you had those guys' sons ruling, and evils multiplied, leading up to, as it goes into verse 10, and there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, or Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been a hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. Okay, so and Antiochus Epiphanes, or Antiochus, however you want to say it, Epiphanes, he was one of the worst men to have ruled up to this time, man. All right, specifically concerning the Israelites, because this dude put straight up hell. He made it illegal to keep the customs of the Lord. All right, he was killing Israelites for keeping the customs, for keeping the old ways. Okay, and he rewarded Israelites for being wicked, for following after the customs of the heathens. Okay, and far worse things happened after this. Because again, as we read in 2nd Ezra 14, as the world grow, in verse 17 of chapter 14, verse 17, as the world grows older and weaker, the evils that will come upon its people will multiply. It says, verse 18, truth will depart, and that's that falling away that happened. Okay, that's spoken of in the book of 2nd Thessalonians. All right, if I'm not mistaken. All right, the falling away happened where the Israelites completely forgot about them, about who they were. Okay, after the Roman Empire, our people forgot who they were. They started calling themselves Africans, and leading up to even today, when, or not today, but, well, yeah, today, because, you got our people calling themselves African Americans, so-called Puerto Ricans, Mexican, Dominicans, Cubans, Guatemalans, South America, so on and so forth. That's the truth departing, man. And it says, and falsehood will draw even nearer. And that's what this devil Esau Edom was given the ability to do. All right, going to Revelations chapter 20 and verse 1. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. And that was Esau Edom after they fell, after the Roman Empire collapsed, man. Okay, and they were under captivity under the Israelites during the time period known as the Byzantine Empire, when they ruled. Okay, but what happened? They came up out of that. Okay, during the time of the Renaissance, starting around the 13th century, leading up to the 14th century. Okay, but it goes on to say, and cast him into the bottomless pit, and to shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that, he must be loosed a little season. And this is that time of falsehood. Okay, and falsehood will draw near will draw ever nearer. And nothing but lies has been spread on the earth. And that's because this devil has been loosed a little season to deceive the world, to deceive the people, man. Again, this Second Ezra chapter 14 is portraying the timeline that we're living in, man. Okay? And it says in the ends of verse 18, 2nd Ezra 14 and 18, truth will depart and falsehood will draw even near. The eagle you saw in your vision is just about to arrive. And that eagle, going back to chapter 11, and 2nd Ezra is going into that Roman Empire. Okay? Which it was coming, after the Babylonians, after the Medo-Persians, and after the Greeks. All right? That's when that eagle appeared, which is reincarnated, which is reborn, all right, through the NATO EU nations, all right, with America being the chief whore that ruleth over this beast, all right, that drives this beast, okay? But this is the times that we're living in, man. We're living in the end. And this is why in my last video I stated that far worse things are about to happen, man. Because that's what the scriptures say. The things that we've seen up to now ain't shit compared to what the Heavenly Father is getting ready to bring about on the earth, man. And we've been commanded to prepare ourselves for these things. To put away our human burdens. Because none of that shit is going to matter when shit hits the fan, man. Okay? So hey, with that, we're gonna go ahead and close out. Lord's with us is edifying. I want to give all the praise and all the glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rochah HaKodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. And much blessing and salutations to the Akim around the four corners of the earth who are diligently pushing out this truth and this truth in sincerity. With that, I say Shalom.